Diana, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. Please rise and ready begin. I pledge allegiance
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
United States of America,
the States of America
to the
and
republic
to the
and
republic
the republic
for which
for which it
stands
stands,
one nation,
one nation,
indivisible,
under God,
with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Thank you, Diana. The board has been meeting in closed session regarding items on the closed session agenda and wishes to report that the following actions were taken. And I call on Brent.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. In closed session today, the board voted to approve a general release of all claims in case number 1425-17/18, BC 694292, the terms of which provide for consideration and a general release of all claims. The vote was unanimous, with all 5 members participating in the roll call vote.
Thank you, Brent. Okay. We'll move on to the next item, which is public hearing. There's none. Call for agenda items for separate action. Adoption of the agenda is posted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Roll call. Ms. Craighead.
Aye.
Dr. Benitez.
Aye.
Ms. Kerr.
Aye.
Mr. Meyer.
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Approval of minutes, April 1. Should we take them all at one time or vote for them all separately?
Brent, I think we can take them all at one time, correct?
Okay. Approval of minutes, April 1, April 6, and April 9.
Move approval.
Second.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call. Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
I vote aye. The minutes are approved unanimously. Communication, there is none. Public testimony on items listed on the agenda, there is none.
There are none.
Staff report, there is none. Public testimony on items not listed, I understand we do have some, and Letitia will read those items.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we have quite a few. The first one is, Mr. Steinhauser, you're going to keep track of the timer, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the first one is from Chad Ellis. I hope this letter finds members of the Board of Education healthy and safe during this COVID issue. Thank you for all you do in service to our school community. The first time I have ever written a letter regarding an issue within school or government. I would like to express my concern over a message sent from the school district. On Thursday, 4/16/20, a message went out stating that LBUSD will be going to credit/no credit for high school students instead of issuing grades for this current semester. I'm asking that an option be provided to receive grades. This adjustment will have 2 positive impacts. Kids will have an incentive to continue to participate in school for the remainder of the school year, and it will allow kids to remain competitive as they move toward college applications. In my observation, the current policy is failing in the early stages. Online attendance in my 2 sons' online classes is in the 25 to 30% range. After speaking with their classmates, the common theme is that attendance doesn't matter under credit/no credit. Everyone is going to pass, which is fair. No one should be harmed by the crisis, and some kids are in challenging circumstances. But the job of the district is to provide an education and give incentive for participation. Kids need an incentive, especially those with a future goal. They need to feel that their effort will be rewarded. The UC system has announced that they are defaulting to pass, no pass for their classes, but as an incentive, students have an option to opt in to receive grades. Many school districts and private schools throughout the state and country are following this common sense approach. It is fair to all and does not harm anyone. Many college-bound kids are enrolled in AP classes and receive extra points in their GPA for these classes. As a potential added factor, SAT testing is questionable for this year. UC has taken action and suspended SAT for 2021 admissions, and CSU may follow suit. In one of my son's circumstance, he is a junior and a potential 2021 college freshman. He is currently earning straight A's, including 2 AP classes. AP courses earn additional grade point awards. While small when tabulated across his 3-year average, those extra grade points could very well be a factor in today's extremely competitive college application process, and even more so if SAT testing is not a factor. GPA will be standalone. I'm requesting that kids be given an opportunity to opt in to receive the grades that they will continue to earn through the school year. Please consider that kids from LBUSD are competing against kids from other districts and states that may not have nearly the impacts of this temporary crisis. I understand that no credit makes sense for some and is fair, but it negatively affects some kids that are in the final stages of competing for college. I imagine this issue affects many families in similar circumstances across the district. An opt-in grade program for students at the high school level would be the preferred outcome. Many surrounding school districts and colleges are providing this option. Please give LBUSD the option to be as competitive as possible. Thank you. Second one is from Kim Erkman. My son is a student at Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to choose if they want to receive their grades for spring semester. LA Unified is allowing grade options. Thank you. Hello, my name is Deb Doby. I have 3 children in the LBUSD in grade 6 at Rogers Middle School and grades 9 and 12 at Wilson. They are all open to doing the schoolwork that's needed to get letter grades this semester. The credit, no credit option for high school students this semester, while it's possibly the easiest solution across the board, could be especially detrimental to the 9th, 10th, and 11th graders when they apply to college. Our high school students should have the choice of receiving a letter grade to maintain their GPAs. Let's keep them as motivated as possible in this challenging environment to continue to work hard on their remaining schoolwork and assignments throughout the semester. Thank you for listening. My name is Bill Ellis. I live in Long Beach. I have lived in Long Beach since 1965, and I sent my 2 sons through LBUSD and now have grandchildren in LBUSD. My grandson made me aware of the issue regarding receiving a pass versus a standard grade within LBUSD. I decided to do some research on the topic. I found some articles, as well as articles from USC and CSU outlining an option for grades throughout California and LA County, as well as our public universities. I urge you to reconsider your policy. Allow students to opt in to grades. No child is harmed with an option allowing them to receive a grade for work completed. On the other hand, those students who are competing for a college admission position will not have the opportunity to bolster their GPA with the work they have completed this semester. By allowing students to receive a grade if they desire, LBUSD will remain competitive with LAUSD, other districts, and the majority of their counterparts headed for college. Thank you. Next, we have Stacy Johnson. I have a student enrolled at Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. Next, Alicia Delaray. I have 2 students enrolled at Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. Next, we have Jocelyn Semechi. First of all, thank you so much for your hours of work put into strategies to continue education in Long Beach. Secondly, I would like to voice my vote for LBUSD high school and middle school students to have the option to receive grades for the spring semester. By only giving the option of credit, no credit, there is absolutely harm in the lack of knowledge learning taking place. Our society has created a system where most students are motivated by their grades. Without that, sadly and realistically, that motivation tends to dissolve. We have capable teachers who can and need to adapt to this new learning environment. As a teacher at the community college level, I have struggled to figure everything out, so I emphasize this with the challenging process. We can do this together. Let's make the right decision for choice. Thank you. Next is Elena Tad. I have a student enrolled at Woodrow Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. Hello, I am Leanne Ekstrom. I hope you are all doing well during this time and that you are healthy. I have a junior enrolled at Millikan High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive letter grades for spring semester 2020 as opposed to credit. My son has had all A's so far throughout his high school education. He loves school and loves learning. The credit, no credit, was a disappointment. It felt very deflating since he has been working just as hard in school since he's been quarantined at home. I wish you all well as you make these difficult decisions. Thank you. Next we have Carla Conrad. I have a student enrolled at Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. My name is Leslie Anderson. I have a student enrolled at Wilson High School and Rogers Middle School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. My daughter has worked hard to be in your WAVE program, only to have all her AP classes not to receive grades and weighted ones at that. This grading policy will result in my considering the removal of my children from LBUSD and placement in alternate schools for the remainder of the school year and years to come. It makes all of their work meaningless, and it is not right to not be given the option. When options are not given, choices need to be made, including where I send my children to school. My school district, AUHSB, is giving letter grades, so I know it is being done. And if it means pulling them out for the remainder of the year and enrolling elsewhere, I will do so. Sincerely, Leslie Anderson. Hi, my name is Diane DeBoer. I have two students enrolled at Long Beach Wilson High School. I strongly support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. Thank you for all that you do for our students. Okay, this is Kelly Meller. I have a time-sensitive concern regarding the district statement last week moving to credit, no credit for high school students. I'm a parent of two students at Wilson High School who have attended LBUSD schools since kindergarten. One of my sons is in 11th grade and one is in 9th grade. My sons have always been encouraged and pushed to work hard and excel in academics and sports by both me and their teachers and administrators. This is all the more reason I do not support the decision to move to credit, no credit for this semester for high school students. This policy is not equitable for students enrolled in AP courses and pursuing college entrance in a year. In particular, my 11th grader is enrolled in 4 AP classes this semester and is in the final stages of preparing for college applications in the fall. AP students from Long Beach Unified will be competing against students across the country that will be receiving letter grades and ensuing extra grade points associated with AP courses. As you know, this has the effect of raising the students' GPA who take and successfully complete AP courses. My son has worked incredibly hard to have A's in all of his classes thus far this year, and to not receive the benefit of these points and a diminished GPA as a result is causing extreme distress and upset for him. When you take into account that SAT testing is now being waived at many schools for 2021 admission, his GPA becomes even more important as a distinguishing factor. No child should be disadvantaged by the current school situation. Unfortunately, with moving to credit, no credit, the policy does not create a level playing field for AP students. Instead, it disadvantages these students in the competitive college application process. Please work to implement a more equitable solution. I propose a simple opt-in program for students who wish to receive their grades as a preferred outcome. Students who wish to receive credit, no credit, are able to choose this option. I understand we are living through an unpredictable and challenging situation. Please stand up for all of our students and work to allow an opt-in program that ensures success for all. Thank you for your consideration. Hi, my name is Dove Mayo. I have 3 students enrolled at Wilson High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. My name is Laura Dempsey. I have a student enrolled at Poly High School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. Thank you. My name is Felipe Esparza, a parent and proud teacher at Wilson High School since 1996. I have a student enrolled at Wilson High School in the WAVE pathway, the same pathway I have taught in since its inception in 2012. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their letter grades for spring semester. Our son, a junior at Wilson, was very disappointed to hear that students were only going to receive credit, no credit, for their academic work. Personally, this is LBUSD opportunity to show Long Beach students the meaning of differentiation when it comes to this issue. Our students are aware of many academic institutions, public, private, and online schools which are keeping their grade system intact, some even giving option for C and C if families prefer. I am a staunch defender of public education and would hate to hear that many families would leave our school district due to this grading system imposed on all students without considering their voices. Our students are also well aware that many universities and colleges are giving students the option to select C or grades for the semester. Some have gone as far as letting their students select such option until the end of the semester or quarter. Next is Paul Anderson, administrators. I have a student enrolled at Wilson High School and Rogers Middle School. I support an option for LBUSD high school students to receive their grades for spring semester. My daughter has been enrolled in the WAVE program at Wilson. The new grading system does not allow her to receive letter grades for her regular and AP classes. As you are aware, the AP classes are weighted and she will not receive weighted credit using the current grading credit system. This new spring grading policy makes all their hard work meaningless, and it's not right to not allow students to have the option to keep letter grades for the spring. Other school districts are giving letter grades, so LBUSD should be able to follow their precedent. This is putting some LBUSD high school students at a disadvantage when competing for college admission. When options for grades are not given, we are seriously considering removing our students from LBUSD and looking at other options for their continued education. We are requesting that LBUSD include an opt-in program for those high school students that wish to receive their grades. This is equitable and allows students with hardship to remain in the credit program. Thank you. Next, we have Janice Opie, to whom it may concern. My husband and I were both raised in Long Beach and graduated from Jordan High School. We raised our 2 children here and sent them through Long Beach Unified. Now we have 5 grandchildren enrolled in LBUSD. Do no harm. LBUSD's credit, no credit policy does harm Long Beach students, as surrounding districts provide an option to receive grades for the current semester. According to the California Department of Education, the 5 largest school districts in the state are Los Angeles Unified, San Diego, Fresno, Long Beach, and Elk Grove. All but Long Beach have an option for grades. We support our schools, our city, and our community. We have spent our lives and careers in Long Beach. We celebrate our students, teachers, and administrators. They are all excellent. I feel compelled to speak out for students pursuing a college education. In her opinion piece of April 25th, Charlene Higa outlines key points that defend and explain the LBUSD do no harm policy, but she misses one key question. What are surrounding school districts doing? The answer, they are following state and county guidance by providing an option for students to request grades or a mark of credit/no credit. In the context of the current crisis, grades are important for many students, including some from LBUSD, because they will compete against kids from across the state and country for college admissions. The current LBUSD policy is credit, no credit, with no option for grades through the end of the semester. Do no harm has been described as an effort to mitigate any negative impact to grades during this crisis. I agree with the principle, but not the current policy. No harm should be caused to any student's record, regardless of circumstance. Here is the problem. LBUSD policy does create harm. Los Angeles Unified and most school districts throughout the LA County and California has shifted to credit, no credit, but with one key and important difference. Most California schools allow kids to opt in to receiving their grades. As college-bound peers from school districts all around California have an option to receive their grades, you can be assured those students interested in presenting their best case for admission to college will be opting to receive grades rather than a mark of credit. All students from LBUSD, regardless of school, zip code, parental involvement, or socioeconomic status, that have an interest in moving on to college will be at a disadvantage in comparison to students from other districts. LBUSD should follow the guidance issued by Los Angeles County Office of Education, grading guidelines during emergency distance learning issued on 4/20/20. No matter the final policy determination, students at the secondary level should be provided the choice to request to take a course for a letter grade. This flexibility accounts for the variability of student preference as well as their post-secondary educational choices. A process is to be developed and clearly communicated as to how students will be able to opt in for a letter grade, including a cutoff date for selecting this option. The policy recommendation by LA County is common sense, fair, safeguards against failure, while encouraging improvement, learning, and attendance. These policy recommendations successfully accomplished the goal of do no harm. In a similar move, University of California and California State University systems have implemented policies and are allowing students to opt in to grades.
3 minutes is up, Letitia.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
Can I finish this one?
Yes.
Okay. We are aware that a growing number of constituents are petitioning our school district administration and school board to allow LBUSD students from across the district to opt in to grades. Families from across the socioeconomic spectrum are speaking out. We want our students to remain competitive against their peers as they prepare for college applications and work to improve their grades. The goal is to have an option for grades while protecting the vulnerable and disadvantaged from any negative outcome that is beyond their control. Thank you.
You still have time. There was just 3 minutes for that one.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. So that is it.
No, you still have time for the other 4. You're at 18 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. So this is from Ann Cottrell, credit versus letter grades. Over 1,500 students, teachers, and family members agree. Students should be given the choice as to whether they receive credit or a letter grade for work done this semester. Check out the petition on www.change.org/LBUSD School Board Optional Letter Grades for LBUSD Dashboard. It has been stated that credit, no credit creates equality for those students who may not have access to online lessons. However, a student must make at least a D to receive credit. How can those without access do any work to receive credit? This credit, no credit system appears to penalize only those students who work hard for a grade, with many other districts, including LA Unified, Los Alamitos, Fresno, and San Diego Unified, giving their students a choice. Long Beach students will be at a disadvantage on their college applications. To be absolutely fair to all students, Long Beach should give them a choice. Thank you. This is from Riley Cantrell, Milligan High School sophomore. Decision makers. I am a sophomore at Milligan High School, and I created a petition asking for students to be given the option to have letter grades or credit, no credit. It has over 1,450 signatures. In addition, I've emailed Milligan teachers asking them what their opinions are on the credit, no credit system. I received many responses agreeing that students be given the choice. Teachers all over the district are still inputting grades as usual, so using letter grades for some students would have no negative impact on them. Giving students the choice for which system they prefer is the best solution to this problem. Students can choose which option best suits them and benefits their educational futures. Many other districts around the country are giving their students a choice. We are the minority without a voice. This being said, we are at an immense disadvantage. Simply put, students with letter grades will have higher GPAs than ours. They will be accepted into college over us. We are at a higher probability of failure. Why not give us the resources to succeed? Students, teachers, and parents all understand that this is a huge decision that won't be taken lightly. We commend you for all your hard work and allowing us to express our concerns for the credit, no credit system. Please help us to achieve our goals and equity in this great city. Thank you for your time. This is from Tina Ruffel. I am a mom of 5 former and current LBUSD students. Most importantly, the final 2 of 5 are still students in the system. I have an 8th grader at Hughes and Gate who has carried a 4.0 all 3 years she has been there. She was accepted at PACE at Poly, where she will join her brother, who is a sophomore in PACE. My children are very high achievers, going after extra credit, AP, and accelerated classes, being very grade-driven. Definitely, they are both college-bound, and I know that if they are not given the opportunity to opt in for letter grades for this report card, it will affect their competitiveness when they are applying for college. I do not want to be let down after working so hard and getting a credit, no credit, or pass-fail after doing so much to obtain and maintain strong grades. Don't let them feel brushed off. Please take into consideration the hours and hours of hard work these students have been committed to, and the goal of obtaining scholarships and a college education have been in their hearts for many years. Give us a chance to choose letter grades. Help our LBUSD students to shine even brighter and obtain success in college and beyond. I pray that you will make the right decision and provide the opt-in option to the LBUSD kids. Best regards. Okay, last one. My name is Todd Eckenrode. Good afternoon, LBUSD Board. As you are aware, undoubtedly, a large group of parents, families, and students from LBUSD has been petitioning for a change to the credit, no credit only option that your board has approved previously. This large group is hoping for an opt-in option for grades should a student choose this option, as has been adopted at many other school districts in some form or another. An alternative to this would be a way for students to opt in for grades as they would have had on the day schools closed campus. I believe for LAUSD, they are using this model and their date is March 13, 2020, or establishing grades at some point where they are recorded already on School Loop, perhaps. In this proposed alternative, no further work by teachers to figure out a student's grade would be needed. The grade is already established. This does not seem difficult to accomplish, respectively, and seems to respect the equality that has been mentioned in the current policy, as this grade could be established at a point where all students were still on campus. Again, this could be an opt-in option as well, so no student is forced into this. The reasons students are seeking grades this semester include remaining as competitive as possible as a candidate for admissions into university in the future by having a full transcript of grades as other school districts do or will. We have heard the statement that UCs and Cal States won't account for the semester in their admissions, but there is no such assurance from the rest of the universities throughout the nation as a whole. The ability for a student to have their highest weighted GPA possible. The credit, no credit policy will absolutely and and inarguably lower a student's weighted GPA for any student taking AP courses this semester. Many universities are no longer requiring the ACT or SAT be taken, which puts a greater emphasis on grades already. LBUSD has become known for supporting high standards of excellence sought by their students through AP classes, honor classes, pathways, etc., and supporting rigor in their classes and studies. There are students seeking this high standard of excellence be maintained. Please consider at least this alternative proposed to the opt-in option for grades. Lastly, there is no guarantee that the coronavirus pandemic will not affect schooling policies next year. If so, and this policy of credit, no credit is set as a precedent, then we are talking about more and more semesters of credit, no credit, lowering the competitive standings of our students versus other school districts. What is the plan if this happens? Safe distancing, fewer students in class, staggered days, and class times would not be enough, as schools may ultimately be forced to close completely due to state or federal guidelines. If the board is unwilling to consider this proposed alternative and give our students an option for grades this semester, can you guarantee that we will not have more credit, no credit only semesters in the future? I thank you for your time and hope you will consider this alternative for the semester and provide a viable plan for the future as well. Best regards, Todd and Pam Eckenrode. And that is it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at business items, personnel. Mr. Meyer.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. I present the following proposed actions prepared by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource Services, approved and appointments classified 99, leave of absence 21, termination of service 1, suspension of terminations 4, retirements 8, rescission 3, certificated personnel, appointments 2, in-service changes 2, leaves of absence 2, separation deceased 1, resignations 2, retirements 26, amendments 2, rescissions 2, and I move approval.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, discussion. Discussion? Okay, Meyer, how do you vote?
A.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote yes, and the motion is approved unanimously. Declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Instruction.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes,
Call.
Dr. Williams?
Uh-huh.
Yes, just a couple of items for discussion. One is on this agenda's instruction items. We can see there's several things that our district is still moving forward on, including a couple of grants, one on leadership development, the other on equity. And I want to ask Mrs. Pamela Secchi if she could talk a little bit about all the work that teachers are doing to make sure that we keep advancing our education, but in addition to that, our district staff as well, the support around the new curriculum that rolled out, instructional pedagogies, the professional development, and how many teachers are taking advantage of the opportunity to learn things themselves as they're teaching in new ways themselves. And I just want to sort of a couple of examples. I know a lot of stuff is going on, Ms. Secchi. just highlighting that our teachers and our staff want to get it right, even though it's not perfect. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Thank you, Dr. Benitez, for the acknowledgement of how hard our teachers are working in this new environment. Since the school closures only weeks ago, our teachers have participated in thousands of hours of professional development, representing their commitment to providing the highest quality instruction possible, whether it's in a brick and mortar environment or a virtual one. Over 2,000 teachers have participated in webinars since the beginning of the school closures to learn how to innovatively use the G Suite applications to provide engaging, synchronous, and asynchronous distance learning. Teachers are also attending virtually office hours led by our curriculum leaders, during which they're collaborating with their peers across the district. Each content area curriculum lead has invited in guest presenters, and by guest presenters, I mean our own teachers who are having success in enhancing and modifying their instruction to be delivered via an online platform. One new program that I'd like to highlight demonstrates how teachers are supporting one another in this new learning environment. We call it our Digital Mentor Program. Teachers who are more technology savvy have volunteered to mentor teachers who feel less comfortable with the new technology. The teacher mentors have participated in training to become peer coaches and are assigned to teachers as they request support from another teacher as their mentor assignment. This is just one example of how our teachers are rising to support students and other teachers in the new environment. And thank you for acknowledging their hard work.
Thank you, Pamela. Further discussion? Okay, roll call. Mr. Meyer? Mr. Meyer?
Yes.
We're voting. Roll call vote on the motion.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, John. Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Finance report A.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, roll call. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Kerr? Ms. Kerr? Megan?
I think she has audio.
You want to ask her for a thumbs up, Dr. Williams, if she's voting aye?
Yeah. Oh, we just can't. Okay, I can't see any of you, so for some reason on my screen. So
Megan?
I'll take your word that she voted aye.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Megan?
Uh,
No, she can't.
Okay.
Megan?
Yeah.
Megan?
So,
We-
Dr.
If she
Williams,
does
Dr. Williams, if I may, she's still on my camera. I can chat her and ask her vote and ask her to either do a thumbs up or not.
Okay, somebody just came back on. I wonder if that's Megan.
It is. I'm back. I apologize.
Okay.
All right. Megan, we're voting on the finance report. I need your vote.
If it's finance report A, I vote aye.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I vote aye, so the motion is unanimously approved. Finance report B.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I recuse myself from participation in Finance Report B on the consent calendar. I have a potential financial interest under Government Code 1091 and 87100. My husband works for a subcontractor who has done work for the payees.
Thank you very much. Call for the vote. Roll call, Mr. Meyer.
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Peters?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved 4-0 with one refusal. Business Department report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Brakehead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Purchasing and contract report.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Brakehead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. We are now at superintendent items, student discipline.
Yes, Mr. President and members of the board, staff recommends expulsion of the following student, 479. This student would be expelled under Education Codes 48900M and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after January 27, 2021. However, Student Placement Services has made the recommendation that this student be expelled with a consideration for a suspended expulsion with an opportunity to attend our GOC program.
I move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Superintendent, just to clarify for our community members, this particular case took place prior to our school closures, correct?
Correct. This is a case that took place before March 13th.
Yes, just wanted to make sure that our community members out there knew that this is a case that took place before our schools closed.
Correct.
Further discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
And I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Administrative assignment?
Yes, Mr. President and members of the board, staff recommends the following assignment. Rashawn Mocha, who is currently a coordinating teacher with our child development centers, to program coordinator in the child development centers on the date indicated.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Call for the vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. The Williams UCP third quarter report.
Yes, Mr.
Information
President.
item.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, members of the board, this is the annual report that we have to give 4 times a year, so this is the third quarter report. There were no Williams complaints filed this last quarter. There is no vote needed for this, just as information item.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we are now at unfinished business. There is none. New business. Board Policy 6142.1, high school graduation requirements. Yes.
Move approval.
Do we need any detail on that one, Chris?
You can take the, I'll give you detail first. So staff is recommending, as many districts are, that we have the flexibility to look at our students for graduation who may not meet the full 220 minimum credits this year. Long Beach Unified is one of the few districts in the state of California that has a requirement of so many units. So what we're asking in this policy is for this year seniors to suspend the requirement for 220 and for students to meet at least the state minimum requirements. What that means is that the students would have to have at least 3 years of English, 2 years of mathematics, and a total of at least 130 credits. What this really is a safety net for those students we would actually put in credit recovery the last semester for those students who did not meet certain requirements under our current 220. Students would still have to meet the requirement of algebra, government, and other state requirements. So this is really a safety net so that no student is harmed by the closure of schools.
Thank you, Chris. We have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Okay, we'll call for the vote. Roll call vote to Mr. Meyer. Aye. Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote yes, the motion is approved unanimously. Resolution 050620-D, supporting Teacher Appreciation Week.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion. All right, all in favor, roll call vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved. Establishing student and adult meal prices for the 2020-2021 school year.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Mr.
All in-
Superintendent, it's basically a 25-cent increase across grade levels, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And that
Further
this is normally
discussion?
an item that we take at this time every year anyway, as we review. This isn't something that's a result of current situation. It's just a normal standard practice at this time of year.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
I think it's still the best bang for that pepper jack burger that I saw pictures of for supper coming up.
Further discussion? All right, call for the vote. Roll call vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote yes, the motion is approved unanimously. Resolution 050620-A, declaring the results of the primary nominating election held on March 3rd, 2020, and such other matters as provided for by law.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, and we'll talk about this with a coming up resolution, but I think it's still important for us to have conversations both at the state level and at the local level in terms of the implications of the way the primary and general timeline is set up. So not a discussion for tonight necessarily, but I want to just keep bringing it up that this election cycle definitely has an impact given our budget and fiscal year decisions. So as an example, and we talked about this before, potential new board members would get sworn in December, mid-academic year, right? So I'd still like to revisit this. If we can put this on a future agenda, Mr. Superintendent, and I know there's another element here that we'll talk about briefly, but with regards to the election cycle and the implications that it has for a school district such as ourselves.
Further discussion. Let me just add to what Dr. Benitez said. I believe Long Beach City College, who had the same cycle as we did, but yet they're not under the similar circumstances as we are. Is that correct? Chris?
You are correct, and Brent may address that in a future item down the agenda.
Thank you. Further discussion? We're going to call for the vote. Roll call. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. Resolution 050620-B, proclaiming, calling, giving notice of, and providing for the holding of a general municipal election, setting forth the specifications of the election order, and requesting consolidation of such elections on the 3rd day of November 2020.
Move approval.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, thank you. We call for discussion.
Yes, Dr. Williams. So I just want to clarify, because we have talked about this in the past as well, and this is what I was alluding to in my previous comments. So as I understand it right now, we had a March primary, a November general. New board members would get sworn in third week of December. Our board reorganization would still take place in June, and the board terms for the board reorg would still be 1 year from June to the following year, right? There would not be another board reorg in December when the new school board members take their oath. Am I correct?
Well, I think the board reorg is in July.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, in July. Yes,
yeah,
I'm sorry,
and-
in July, not
and-
June, July.
And that issue is addressed in the last item on the agenda under the annual organization.
Right. I just want to clarify that we're staying with the July reorg, even though new school board members are getting their oath in December.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Further discussion? We'll call for the vote. All in favor by roll call, Mr. Meyer.
Aye.
Craighead.
Aye.
Dr. Benitez.
Aye.
Ms. Kerr.
Aye.
I vote yes as well. The motion is approved unanimously. Resolution 050620-C, designating specific materials, products, things, or services for use on public work projects pursuant to Public Contract Code Section 3400.
I move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Can we get some clarity on this one, Chris? What does this actually mean?
Yes, Yumi will discuss.
Sure. This resolution will allow us to obtain these materials provided by Salto in order to conduct a field test of these electronic door locks. So it's allowing us just to obtain the materials without going out for competitive bid for the purpose of just conducting a field test of these materials.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Williams,
Uh-huh.
we talked about this in our business committee, and it sounds like this is going to be an improvement over our current system of using master keys. Employees will be able to use their ID cards, so it will improve our security. It will improve the situation when keys are lost. We don't have to rekey an entire school campus, and that will save us money ultimately. So it seems like a very good system, and we're going to be piloting this product to see if it would make sense to use district-wide.
Thank you so much. Further discussion? Okay, we're going to call for the vote. Roll call vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead? Ms. Craighead?
Oh, sorry, aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. The motion is approved unanimously. Annual organization meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion.
Brent, do you want
Yeah,
to?
so I think this,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, I think this was the issue that Dr. Benitez was talking about earlier, which is the discrepancy in the election cycle now versus the reorganization meeting that happened in July. So if I'm reading this correctly, we'll continue to do the reorganization in July of this year, and those officers will be there for a full year term. So then my question is, what potentially happens in 2021, July of 2021? If for some reason there's been a change or we're doing a reorg in July, is there a possibility that that next cycle would be either an extended cycle or a shorter cycle on the reorganization? Or is that something that would be determined if and when there was a change to the election cycle or any decisions that we would make in terms of changing the city charter?
I will let Brent address
I think
that.
it's more a
Brent?
question for Brent.
Sure. Yeah. With respect to 2021 or going forward, that's something which you would revisit once there's either a change in the law, whether that's the city charter law or whether that's a change in California law. This resolution is as far as we can see ahead right now for the law that we have. And if situations or if the law changes, then the board might want to revisit that. But for now, Dr. Benitez stated it correctly before. New folks will be sworn in December. The annual reorganization will take place on the third Monday of July, with those annual organization elections for president, vice president, holding those terms for 1 year, continuing to go forth in July until we hear something more about the charter. There presently is not an initiative to change the charter. Some of what's going on here is that we're waiting to find out the results of some other litigation, which deals with the Voter Participation Rights Act. And we're still waiting to see what happens with that additional litigation. But for now, new folks sworn in December, then annual reorganization every July, if you approve this resolution tonight.
So, Brent, I
Thank you for
understand.
the clarification.
Thank you, Brent. I understand the legal interpretation of it and why this recommendation is being made. I do want to highlight that it is a particularly interesting scenario that we will have two of our current school board members, all due respect to Mr. Meyer and Dr. Williams, voting on president and vice president, and their terms would be over in December, right? So even the president and the vice president would continue on, even though the current board wouldn't be serving for the additional 6 months of those terms. So just want to highlight. I mean, it could be obvious for some, but I do find that scenario very interesting. That our current board votes for our current officers, yet they're not around for half of the current officer's term.
That is correct, and I hope that that's addressed in a future charter amendment.
Further discussion? Okay, we're going to call for the vote. Roll call vote. Mr. Meyer?
Aye.
Very good.
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Sir?
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved unanimously. We are now at report of board members. Let's start with Diana.
Okay, thank you. I want to mention a couple of things just very briefly. Our parents who sent in comments about, the grading, that type of thing, I just want to point out that everybody's comments were respectful and dignified, and I appreciate that. A lot of people are looking out for our well-being as well as their own, and it's so nice that we are able to involve ourselves in these types of discussion in such a respectful way. I find that to be very refreshing. But the bigger news really is that it's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to send a big thank you to all of our teachers who are working so hard. And these are teachers that are not just watching out for their students, but they are at home a lot of times with their own kids who are students, so they're having to teach their own kids at the same time and as being responsible for their classrooms, virtual classrooms of students. And I just want to say I've had the opportunity this week to participate in a couple of teacher appreciation events. They look a lot different than they have in the past, but people are making the best of it. When you see teachers and students who are able to see each other in person, even though somebody's in a car, somebody's standing on a sidewalk, that type of thing, it's so wonderful to see the emotion, and it just drives home the point that we are in a business where we work from the heart. We work with people. It's all about the people. It's all about our passion and compassion for everybody. So thank you again to the teachers. And then because we won't be meeting till afterwards, thank you to all the classified employees. Classified Employees Week is coming up May 17th to the 23rd. And I just want to put it out there. We appreciate so much all of our people and the work they do. So thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Let me go to Mr. Meyer.
Well, I echo the words that Mrs. Craig had just said. We're so deeply grateful to our staff, classified, certificated, for the hard work they're doing under these trying situations that we have now. It's just almost impossible to visualize the work that has to go on via communication from home to our students. Thank you, one and all. I would like to personally thank our OMS staff. They seldom get recognition, but Blake McIntosh tops the list, Christopher Itzen, Gary Marshall, Ruben Sosanowski, Stephen Swift, Myrna Aguilar, Rob Floto, Cindy Ruiz. Thank you, one and all, for the great work you do in helping us convey our message to the public.
Thank you, John. Mrs. Kerr?
Yes, thank you. To echo the comments of my colleagues, I am grateful for all who continue to serve in whatever capacity. We know that Long Beach Unified is the largest employer in the city, and many of our employees are still working hard every day. It just looks a little bit different. To our teachers who are teaching under circumstances they never trained for, thank you. To our classified staff who are on the front lines, literally handing out meals and being a lifeline to our families, I am grateful for you and for the systems behind them, the business department, the folks who aren't on the front lines but who are making the folks on the front lines able to do their job. I continue to be grateful for all of that work. I just want to acknowledge and say I think we're all doing our best here. And as we talk about what it looks like to come back together, or to start to talk about what it looks like to start to come back together, I know that that can be unsettling and daunting. And while I think people are doing their absolute best in the situation, I'm always reminded at the end of the day that this is not just us in Long Beach. This is not just us in California or the United States, that this is a global pandemic. This is something that is stirring up emotions in people that they didn't know that they had, and calling on us to react to things we never imagined. And I think that changes us. And even after these 6 or 7 weeks, how we react and how we are with each other is forever different. And I just want to thank everyone for doing their best and really ask us to continue to extend patience and grace to everyone who is doing their best, whether that is literally staying home just to survive, to those who are on the front lines doing the work, to those who are able to volunteer to help others. We're all doing this differently, and all are valuable, and all are important, and all are right for us. So as long as we can remember that each of us is doing it the best that we can, I think that's important to do. So thank you again to our staff, and especially our behind-the-scenes staff, who are allowing this district to continue to teach, to feed, and to plan for how we come back together next. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Dr. Benitez?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Williams. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, everyone. I'm dittoing the sentiments of my colleagues, and then in the upcoming week for our classified employees as well. I also want to say Happy Asian Pacific Islander Month this month. We would also, see and hear a lot of different things this month with regards to that. I want to particularly thank, in addition to all of our employees, I want to thank in particular our nutrition services staff. They had some awesome nutrition services hero stuff going on in the last few days. Just beautiful, right, to see our community and district teams coming together to rally around our students. My next comments are directed toward parents, and many parents that are very frustrated, as Board Member Kerr already alluded to. But here I'm reaching out to parents that I know are frustrated with our distance learning. I would say to parents and students, right now is the time to reach out for help, all right? Whether it's your teacher or your principal or us or district staff, if you're struggling right now, you need to let us know. You need to let someone know, right? Even if it's your teacher, right? We have a lot of students that are struggling, but parents that are also struggling to navigate our online resources, right? And it's kind of that thing where you don't know what you don't know. So I appreciate all the calls and all the effort that's going on behalf of our district to engage folks and loop them in. But we do have a lot of members of our community, particularly parents and many students, that need a helping hand right now. I would encourage our other community members that are more comfortable with the technology to reach out, right, and do some hand-holding, even if it's just to go through how does a student log in, right, and participate in a Google Meet. And I know that there are a lot of community members out there that are willing to lend that hand. Please do so if you're able to reach out and check in on how a family is doing. We want to make sure that all of our students are engaged, as has been alluded to tonight. We don't want to penalize any students, but we also realize that there are a lot of challenges that households, students, and families are facing. So I would encourage, for those of us that are able to reach out, to check on other students, other family members, to do so. And it may be just as something as simple as, here's the way you submit something, online to a teacher. Here's an updated phone number for that school that you can call if you're still missing a Chromebook or lacking internet access. Identifying a member of a household that may not know, right, that an adult in that household can go pick up the meals for multiple students at that household. So things like that, it's one thing for us to say, hey, it's on the website. It's another thing for us to, help, right, navigate the website. So I appreciate all the information that's going on, all the social media updates that are going out, all the text messages and phone calls that are going out. But I know that some family members, some parents, and some students are still frustrated The last thing I would say is, not just during these difficult times, but I think, in order for us to be equitable, in order for us to continue upholding our mission around equity and every student and all students, being equitable always requires resources. We're going to have some tough times ahead of us. So I would encourage folks really right now that we need to continue advocating for funding for education, for funding for public education. It may not be a priority to everyone on a national level to make sure that our most vulnerable students, our special education students, our English learners get the resources that they need, not just to stay afloat, but to not widen the opportunity gap that we were doing a good job at closing in the last few years. And we certainly do not want for those to be exacerbated and widened. So now is the time to advocate to our state and national legislators that even though pockets are going to be very tight, that we reprioritize if we need to, that funding toward public education is absolutely necessary for our wonderful district to continue doing what we do best, even during these most challenging times. And it's not just me trying to throw it out there, it's that we have elections coming up. We have decisions that we need to make. We have policymakers that we need to hold accountable to make sure that when we talk about equity, that even though it may not be the resources that we absolutely expect, but that we need resources, right, during these challenging times to get prioritized again. So just wanted to make sure that folks understand that many of the decisions that our district is doing is based on our district being very fiscally healthy and the work that's occurred for many, many years so that we are able to continue offering a lot of the equity-based work that we offer, but that's going to be more and more difficult unless there are resources, hard resources, to continue addressing the inequities that we're all challenged by. So those are my comments, Dr. Williams.
Thank you very much, Juan. And I also want to just echo the sentiments of my fellow board members relative to the issues that our district is facing. Also to say thanks to Brent, Blake, Chris Itzum, the entire OMS staff for their work and keeping the message and the information getting out to the public. We really appreciate all of you. I just reflect back to 2008 when we had a massive layoff in this district, and we wondered how this district would hold up in terms of its national profile of being a top-performing school district. It was impressive to watch everybody come to the table and still give their best to make sure this district remained a viable and competitive school district, in spite of the hardships we had to go through at that time. And now as I look at where we are today in a lot different circumstances and going to be appearing to be a lot more ominous, I'm quite sure that the spirit of this district will allow us to maintain that same level of intensity and focus as one of the top performing school districts in the nation and indeed in the world. And Dr. Benitez, on the note about advocating for additional resources, I just want to say that in the conference calls with the Council of the Great City Schools this past Friday, continuing this Friday, there is a great deal of work being done right now to advocate at the federal level to include best practices and what a lot of the school districts are doing around the nation to demand additional resources at the federal level in terms of enlisting the support of their congressional leaders and so forth and so on, to include a model resolution that the council has put together for school districts to use as a template And the idea is the more intensity that's focused on our legislators, the possibility of our districts getting additional resources in some of the budget negotiations that are going on right now. I know Megan will also be on that call tomorrow, but there is a great deal of work being done, Dr. Benitez, on that in that vein right now as we speak. Again, you know, we're in some trying times, but we've got folks who can rise to the occasion in this district. And to top that off, we've got some very wonderful and special leadership. So thank you, one and all, for all you do to make this district what it is. Now we're at superintendent items.
Yes, I'd like to first to say thank you to the board for honoring our staffs. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. It's National School Nurse Day today. Classified Week is coming up, and it truly is heartwarming to see what our staff is doing each and every day. And this, we will rise to the occasion like we did in the Great Recession. And I wanted to share some 4 great successes that have happened. For those who don't know, CAMS was named the top high school in the state, and this is the first time CAMS has received that recognition. And approximately, in the U.S. News and World Report, and approximately half of their students are in poverty. So huge kudos to CAMS. SADO, which you know is in its 6th year of existence, was just named Project Lead the Way Demonstration School, one of only 143 in the nation, and one of only 3 in the state of California. Great job to our friends at CAMS. Jay Matthews, who many of you know, who's actually a Long Beach former resident, who has had the Challenge Index published in Newsweek and the Washington Post, and now he has his own publication, just ranked 3 of our schools in the top 300. He only ranked the top 300 schools in the nation this year. CAMS was ranked number 77, McBride was ranked number 112, and SADO was ranked 240. This is a huge achievement for our schools. And if you remember last year, Dr. Baker actually presented at the Innovate Schools, which was held at USC, which focuses on schools in the county who are closing achievement gaps. We had many, many schools recognized last year, and I'm proud to tell you again that we have 22 schools honored this year, and there'll be a virtual celebration later. So again, kudos to all the schools in the district and everyone doing a great job.
Thank you, Chris. Anything else?
Not on my part.
All right. We are now at announcements. Anyone?
2 announcements, Dr. Williams. One is our esteemed Dr. Camarino is going to be on a panel tomorrow at 1:30. In order to participate, call 855-756-7520, an extension 60378 with the pound. It's a community forum for our Latinx community members, and it is moderated by Mario Gonzalez from the Port of Long Beach, and many of our city and civic leaders will be on that panel. So thank you, Jay, for representing the district in that regard tomorrow, 1:30 p.m., and it's all things COVID-19 related, including education. And then the second announcement is, I'm going to be honest, I got a little jealous in downtown with the awesome caravans at some of the schools across our district. And so I've been working closely with Principal Dawson at Stevenson, and we're having a teacher appreciation caravan between Alamitos and Long Beach Boulevard, between 1st and 7th, for the neighborhood students around Stevenson. So I want to give a very special shout out to Abigail Mejia at the mayor's office, who helped to coordinate this, and also a real special shout out to both fire and police departments that are participating in the caravan. Friday, 1 p.m., around teacher appreciation, and again, just to throw some magic sauce all over this part of town with our students and community members. So thank you to everyone that made this happen. Thank you to the teachers We have 25 teachers confirmed that are participating in the caravan, and thank you to Principal Dalton for making this happen. So anyone listening out there, let the kids know 1 p.m. we're going to be driving around the neighborhoods around Stevenson, Friday.
Thank you, Dr. Benitez. For any other announcements? Let me just throw something in. It's related to COVID as well. The request that I received from the Long Beach Department of Health, and the request to form a partnership to have our students involved as ambassadors in speaking with their fellow students, in particular our students of color, because of the way the COVID situation is impacting that community. I turned that request over to Dr. Baker, and Jill, could you give us an update on that?
Sure.
Jill?
Sure. Just briefly, as an extension of the many ways that we're interacting with the health department right now, Dr. Aaron Simon, who's the Director of Student Support Services, will be leading that charge with staff from the health department. It will engage a number of students, likely students from associated student bodies and other aspects of a high school, students of color in particular, who can speak to the lived experience of COVID in their communities and in their environment to help inform and get the message out about safety during this COVID experience. They'll also be using student social media channels to get a message out, because we know students interact differently on social media than we do, and we're really attempting to get a good message out that connects students and families to the health department in a way that has a positive impact on the reduction of COVID in the African American community.
Thank you, Jill. All right.
Dr. Williams, can
Go ahead.
I ask Superintendent or Dr. Baker a quick question?
Sure.
Just in terms of moving forward, I know that the city changed or is looking to change after the stay-at-home order on the 15th, opening up slowly some recreational activities and other things. Can you give us a little bit of a timeline on when we're going to start to have some conversations or give some information on where we're looking to go? I know it's really preliminary, but I know as things start to open up, people get antsy and may start to ask some questions. So maybe just a little timeline.
Yes,
Sure.
Dr. Baker will do that.
Sure, I'll start and then Mr. Steinhauser can add on. We will be providing some community information via social media, video, as well as print resources that will go out to our families on this Friday, May 8th. The video will likely be posted late in the afternoon, along with print information that will give some pretty critical information about summer and what we expect to happen in terms of school district operations in summer. As you can imagine, we're locally following the stay-at-home order, and we'll be bringing essential staff back into the district for district work, phasing in over the next several weeks. And Mr. Steinhauser has had communication with local agencies around summer programming. We also internally will be working with our own providers for preschool, essential service, childcare, and some other experiences. And we expect to have more of that information out within the next few weeks.
Yeah, and just to build upon what Dr. Baker said, Dr. Baker and Dr. Brown are in constant contact with our representatives of the health department, and we are working with our city partners on what, if any, programs will be offered in the summer, and we'll keep people posted as soon as we confirm what those programs may or may not be.
Thank you so much.
Okay, anything else for the good of the order, folks? We'll move for adjournment. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we are adjourned, and thank you all, one and all, for this virtual meeting and moving the work of the Long Beach Unified School District forward. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.